Greetings, everyone, on this last day of October. I'd like to thank you for tuning in, and I just want to, come on and give a shout out to our community and tell everyone to hang in there. Um, Before I start, please go to my channel, Anita Talks History and Genealogy. Check out my channel and make sure that you like, you subscribe, you share, and also you comment, because I talk a lot about history, but I also talk about current events. And the current event going on now is that Trump and the Republicans are going to deny SNAP benefits. They call it SNAP benefits. So, on the first, they usually hand out SNAP benefits to eligible families. And this, so far, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So, what I want to do is talk about the history of those benefits, because I'm seeing, I know that they had this thing about welfare queens that was really popular. I think it was Reagan that started talking about that. This person that was living so high on the hall off of welfare and food stamps, and they have never given out any amount of food stamps or welfare that would have somebody living high on the hog. So, and for them to say that about a sister, it was just always, they always scapegoat our community, always. And they would use a lie to do it, to get their point across, because most of the people that they're talking to, they're dog whistling to, the white community is racist. A lot of them are not even educated, and a lot of them want to point the finger to someone other than themselves because they're receiving those benefits. Like they talk about public housing and all these people of color, especially African Americans living in public housing. When public housing first came out, these were for white people. We did not live in public housing. And we got very little benefit from HUD. HUD that gives you stipends to live somewhere. None of those programs were for people of color, especially for African Americans. And they wanted to make it hard because African Americans were leaving the South looking for better opportunities in the North. And quiet as it's kept, the people in the white folks in the South who had no intention of doing any hard labor were having a fit about these Negroes being able to just walk away and go north and, live a decent life. So that one of the things that they did to prevent that, because in the case of my family, on my dad's side, they came from South Carolina in the 1920s. They started coming, and when they came, they would stay in a house with somebody that came from South Carolina, a relative, and they'd stay there until they got a job and got on their feet. Then they would get their own house, and then they would bring somebody else, and that's the way they were doing it. So what they did was they started passing zoning laws so that if you were renting a house, you could not have but a certain amount of people in that house. Like right now, when you try to rent a house, every adult that's in the house has to have a credit check, But what they did was they had zoning laws that would say that a 2-bedroom could only have a certain amount of people in it. What they were doing was trying to prevent the migration from the South to the North, because those Southern people were dependent on these our people to work those fields. They wasn't going to work them, and they were not at that point bringing in a lot of labor uh, from Mexico or South America at that point. I mean, this was years ago. So, um, in the first food stamp program was enacted in 1939 in Rochester, New York, as a pilot program during the Great Depression. The program was created by Secretary of Agriculture Henry Wallace under President Franklin D. Roosevelt to provide aid to low-income households while also addressing agriculture surpluses. See, they said agricultural. That's farming. You know what I'm saying? And so that was to make sure those farmers got subsidies. But the people who were working those farms were our people, were African Americans, by and large. And I'm talking about during that period. I'm not talking about subsequent periods. The first recipient was Mabel McFiggin of Rochester, New York, on May 16, 1939, and she was a Caucasian female. And again, when I'm talking about agriculture surpluses, they're talking about giving white farmers who own the land money. It's always about them, something that can benefit them. So we did not, I think it was like, the 1960s or something, before they would even entertain our people getting food stamps or any kind of assistance. And so now, they're still trying to play that game of making it about, those low-income black people, those low-income African Americans, they're the ones that are getting all the food assistance. No, it's not. It's rural white folk. It's poor white folk, wherever they are the ones getting it. And they get more than our community gets. I would say that if a family of 3 or 4, if a father's in the household, it's highly unlikely that they would even, approve that. They would probably make the father go work. But if it's a family, about 3 or 4 people, they may get $200 and something a month in food stamps, maybe 300, I don't know, but it's not a lot compared to what I'm hearing from some of these white folk on social media talking about they're getting $4,000 in food stamps. Plus they're getting cash benefits, because they're on TikTok and social media talking about they're getting ready to cut my benefits, and how am I going to live? My $4,000, SNAP, they call it food stamps or whatever, but it's all the same. SNAP, EBT, all that, it's all the same. So now that the government is shut down, Trump, even though they have the money, he's blocking the money from being used as leverage for what he and his administration want to do, which is to gut the Social Security fund and to gut the other fund. I think it is the medical insurance, the ACA. He wants to stick it to Obama and get rid of the Affordable Care Act. And what's pathetic is that most white folk, think that Obamacare is different from the Affordable Care Act. Obamacare is the Affordable Care Act. And these people play on the ignorance of their own people to get what they want. So they'll go send someone out like Trump, who is nobody, none of them fact check anything he says. He dog whistles, and when I say dog whistle, I mean he says certain things, and the only ones who hear it and act on it are the MAGA people. Those people who follow him, they deliberately do that. They deliberately do that. They like Trump because he does that. And then when you come back, when they go back and ask him about that lying statement that he made, he will attack them. Why are you asking me that? What's wrong with you? Or you must be a liberal. You know, I mean, the same people that were following him, if they question him about a remark he made, which they act on, then he turns on them and acts like he's ignorant, like he didn't, make the remark. But this is what's going on. So what I'm going to say to the community, to our community, is to make sure that we, help those people in the community who are struggling, who are going to be struggling, because if they don't get, the help they need with the food, the ones we want to take care of, who are the babies, make sure those babies have food to eat without question. Do the Christian thing. Most of us are Christians. Do the Muslim thing. Those of us who are religious, make sure that the children are fed, that the elderly are taken care of, are fed. Make sure that those who are disabled and cannot take care of themselves have something to eat. And when you do that, then we can move forward. And we were getting along without it. So we have to think of alternative ways instead of depending on these people. They have never come through for us. They have done nothing but leech off of us, spiritually, mentally, physically, stealing our labor, taking our young people and imprisoning them for little or no reason. They've done everything to destroy our community, but we're still standing. And we're going to get through this. We have to watch each other's back and take care of each other and care about each other. So with that, I'm going to say, I will see you guys on the other side, and I know you're going to do it. Hang tough. We got this. Take care. Bye.